If you'd all join me in the flight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Turn your mics on.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. Sherry is out this evening, and so I'll be taking over running the agenda for her. And do we have any other business?
Is she excused?
She is excused, I'm sorry. She's out excused, yes. No other business? Okay. Consent agenda, anyone?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda. I'll second it. No?
Okay, motion second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Okay, so let's see, department reports. Let's start with you, Dwayne. How's the police department doing?
Actually, quite a bit to report. So we have achieved and completed 24 hours of in-service training as required by the State Academy. We completed declaration of compliance form, which is mandated by the State Academy. We've issued updated use of necessary force, deadly force, and mortar pursuit policies. And that's based off that use of force core principles training that I went to. That reduces liability, helps us as a department, as a city. Let's see what else. Okay, so we adjusted the police department employee schedule to maximize coverage for the city of Toledo. So on Friday and Saturday night, Taryn is working a 12-hour shift, and that's from 11 in the morning to 11 at night. So that gives us a better overall coverage during those hours. We attended the school district board meeting in regards to our school resource officer, and then right after that, Bill resigned. So we do have the position approved by the school district board. It's a good thing, and we're looking for an additional person to fill that gap. It has to do with his wife. His wife's health is not good, and so family's got to come first on that. So we reevaluated the tasers and Taryn went through every single taser that we had, and we upgraded the cartridges, and we got those reissued to Officer Carter. Primarily got him squared away. Mine's coming here pretty soon. We met with what's called the Western States Information Network, known as WISN, Director John Martin, and we had a 2-hour training on that class. And does anybody know what WISN is?
I've heard of it.
You do. It's actually a free resource. It's across the entire United States of America. We're a part of that intelligence gathering and sharing. And that's going to be a critical role in an additional program that we're going to be rolling out here pretty soon. Let's see what else. We completed and recertified the police department radar units as required by the RCWs. And then I attended the Lewis County Sheriff's Department's recognition ceremony for criminal deputy Dustin Green, who is moving on to work for Governor Inslee, the new use of force policy board. He got appointed into that, so that's a good thing. Activities in progress. We're working on the official MMIW supplemental patch and/or rope for the police uniform, and we're planning on rolling that out on May 5th of this year, which is National MMIW Day. I think it would be prudent to have a MMIW advocate. Her name is Earth Feather Sovereign. She's also a victim of MMIW. She's been involved in the movement for years, and she's a female. So I think it's important to have that as the face of this whole rollout on May 5th, which is National MMIW Day. She does have a contract that she would like us to take a look at. We've already looked at that contract, and we're looking to work with the Lions Club to see if they can fund that contract for her. So I think these are important things that we can get situated before May 5th, obviously. We want to roll this whole program out, the new patch, with the new WISN program that we have actually created now. We want to do that all in one big show out there by the espresso stand, hopefully. More to come on that. There's a lot of details on that still have to be worked through, but we're kind of working on that right now. Let's see what else we got going on here. Still evaluating the Toledo Police Department Policy and Procedures Manual. There's a new program out that I want to take a look at to incorporate that manual in there to kind of streamline it a little bit. I'll be working on that this month. Also going to be doing inventory for the police department. And the one thing that I'm really excited about, I'm just going to kind of give it a little bit of a heads up. So that WISN network that I was talking to you about, so what we've decided to do is everybody talks about things. We need to do these things. We have Zoom meetings for MMIW. Those are all great things. But I'm kind of more of the thought process that let's go do something. Okay, we've talked about it, we've hammered over it, everybody's talked about it, everybody's had their input. So when I talked to John Martin, we proposed a smaller agency response team for MMIW. It would be comprised of Napavine, Whitlock, Castle Rock, Kelso, Longview. Whoever has an investigator who wants to be part of this team would sign up for this group of investigators. And if there is a MMIW case anywhere in the state of Washington, we can activate that unit. And whoever's available can go assist that jurisdiction to try to help solve that crime and then to help the families that are processing trauma, those types of things. And we wrote a memo up and we sent it to John Martin, WISN. Eric helped me out with that memo and it was very well received. Right away they responded to me from California, they called me from California. And they have now said that we can go ahead and incorporate that mechanism within WISN, and it's going to be called Alert. And I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a great thing for a lot of people. So other than that, Taryn's been writing a lot of tickets for driving while suspended and no insurance and registration, those types of things. And that's where we're kind of sitting at. Any questions? Been busy.
Thanks, Chief. City Hall.
So I finally got 2 quotes for the codification. I think we're going to wait to look at a couple of our codes at our next workshop, and then we will move forward with the project. We didn't plan on having the attorneys involved, but there is a process that Buzzard will have to be involved with, so I'm waiting to hear back from them on the price. That way we can figure out if we need more ARPA money for that. Grain Osborne came out for the City Hall assessment, and we are just waiting to hear back from them on that, so we'll know more on the building then. Water, sewer billing was complete. I worked with Carly very little on this one, so she pretty much was able to knock that out from start to finish. Taryn and I met with Lacey over at Winlock, and she is the court administrator over there. She normally works out of Napavine, but she went over the procedures for filing the correct documents that we need when we issue any kind of criminal infraction. She also got me in contact with Judy, who's the PD clerk over there, and so I'll be able to get a lot of my questions answered as far as how to do things with the PD clerk side of it. I know Devin had left notes with stuff with Lewis County, but there's not a lot as far as the Winlock court process. And I just ordered Taryn a new printer and tech book for his car, so that'll get him up to date with tech for his car, and that's it.
I saw that show up in email today. Can you get them to switch?
They did.
Okay, great. Any questions for Rachel? Congratulations. Okay, so Public Works. I'll cover Public Works. Water and wastewater operations are normal.
The Public Works Assistant position was filled on the 20th. First name is Thomas. It looks like John Cravens really likes working with him, and he's doing great. They spent most of that time, a lot of since then, training on him being able to do water and wastewater testing during the week. And he sat in on the water meter reading. Sounded like that went well. Also went through the process of delivering late notice hangers and water shutoffs for those who didn't pay. John went to a free utilities locating class for a refresher. Said that was useful, and he's passed that information on to everybody in the department. And he is still looking at a complaint for a plugged storm drain, and he'll continue to keep an eye on it and dive deeper into it once it's not under a foot of water. So I guess that was a little joke in there. Was that a joke from John?
Sherry.
That was from Sherry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haha.
Kind of funny.
That's funny. Yeah.
Any other, anybody have any questions? I probably can't answer them, but I can pass along. No? Okay. All right, on to council reports. I'll go ahead and tell you what the mayor's report was for her. She attended the mayor's meeting on 3/1. It sounds like she was the only mayor there in person. She attended the Planned Growth Committee meeting with Todd. I'm really glad she's doing that now. They discussed urban growth area expansion, and we will be diving into that with both feet, since, like the other cities around, we have a short window to get our information in. So basically, they're wanting to know what our thoughts are for urban growth, so they can bake that into the work that they're doing as far as the plan, as far as the planned growth, or what are we getting that funding for, Steve, if I may ask?
Comprehensive plan.
The comprehensive plan, thank you. The word just escaped. Looks like Sherry had a great meeting with Toledo Tel regarding the camera system and our monthly billing charges. It kind of looked like those bills have been out of control for a while, so it's good. I think Rachel's been keeping a focused eye on it lately. So next week she's going to be working with a handful of people on the upcoming water rate changes. So could call that increase, but we're trying to call it changes because I don't think it's going to be an across-the-board increase. We'll see. And she will be attending the second grade safari this month, as well as going to Head Start to start talking with the kids.
Cool.
Emily. Oh, for the mayor, I can't answer her questions for her, but yeah, I can pass it on.
Yeah, she mentioned something about up to 16 cameras. Are we becoming Big Brother, or what's?
No, so there's not, and there's more info in here. I think it was a total of 6 cameras that she landed on, and that was just the proposal that they gave. But I think we landed on 6 cameras.
I think the system will handle. The system will handle like 16. They are in powers of 2. But right now the park bathroom is closed because it's again been completely torn apart. So that's needed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a known hangout spot for the high school kids, I think, is the problem.
Maybe the high school kids need to know it's going to start causing costs or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It's too bad. Let's see. I was asked by Joe to contact the AWC to ask them a very specific question about receiving taxes for a service, the library, if it was done by a vote. So I emailed the president of the AWC, and then she was stumped, so she emailed the MRSC. And so I have yet to hear back from that. So hopefully we'll hear something. Then I went to the Planning Commission meeting, the last one, where Todd Johnson was, and he talked about the 20-year plan for the Lewis County, and so that was awesome that Sherry went to go talk about what Toledo wanted. I was really happy. I asked what the plan was for what Toledo is going to do for the dump. I don't know what our plan is. So I went with Brian Dennis to go see what is up there, because I've never been up there. I'm not sure if anyone has ever been up there.
A long time ago, that's where we
Yeah,
all
I
went.
think the last time I was up there was when I was a kid dumping off garbage.
Yeah.
So I have pictures that I forgot to bring my camera. I can go get my phone after the meeting. If anyone wants to see pictures tonight, I ran out because I'm a fool, but whatever. Anyway, I found that there were probably over 50 cars that have been dumped off the cliff. The old RV is up there with the door torn off. A few fentanyl syringes, a mountain of tree branches and stumps. I don't think we have a plan for that stuff. I think we just go dump it off up there. I think it's just up there. I think if we don't have a plan, we plan to fail. So I think we should plan something for up there. I don't know what we're gonna do. And that's what I know. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Rebecca?
Nothing.
Report, okay. Kathy?
Nothing.
Jamie?
Well, I'm back.
Congratulations.
I got a notification from Social Security regarding scams, so it was a reminder to pay attention. If you get an email, don't be clicking on links if you're not sure where it actually came from. I've gotten 2 or 3 texts just this month that looked like they could have been from institutions that I deal with, but they weren't actually. One actually was trying to portray that it was the Washington Credit Union. And of course I just deleted them. So if you get those kind of things, just get rid of them. Because your bank is not going to notify you that way at all. They're going to call you if there's a problem and tell you to come in person, because they're not going to have you providing information to someone that you don't actually know or see. So,
And truthfully, you're able to recognize these scams if you look carefully at the email address.
yep.
And it's blinding that delete.
Yeah, I've even gotten texts, but I've gotten
Well, there's actually
3
some now
texts
that are-
this month.
I mean, they're very similar.
They're getting really good. Don't,
They've gotten extremely, I wouldn't click on anything.
don't click through, don't click
That's
through
the
to
point I'm at
anything.
now, I don't even click on anything, just delete it.
Yep. If you think it's
Can't
your
trust
bank,
it.
if
Yeah.
you think it's your bank, go to your web page that you normally go
Like Jamie
to.
said, go in person.
Use your own link.
Well,
Yeah.
and you know your bank contact information, so if you think it's a little fishy or not, call your bank and say, this is what I've got.
And if you have a Windows machine, don't even click through anything, because that's enough. You don't even need to do anything. All right, thank you. Good little PSA there. Okay, Planning Commission. 'Cause
Planning
I
Commission.
spoke too much.
Well, at the last planning commission meeting, as Emily said, we discussed briefly the input that's going to be necessary for the Lewis County Planning Commission for, I believe, March the 29th is the deadline now, for our input with regards to our future UGA. And Todd was going to do some homework and try to submit a package prior to his leaving for vacation, and take it up with Planning Commission, as it's informational only for the county at this time. And that way we're in a position to go back and change our minds if we wanted to. And I believe the idea was that we were going to expand our UGA out 505 towards exit 63. And that the UGA that we have been focusing on annexing is about the limits of where we're gonna wanna go that way at this time. So that's in the future. That's something that I'm gonna bring up at the big meeting because Todd felt it required some public information and input. So it'll be part of my talk on planning for the big meeting, is to address that and tell them what's happening, and we'll see if there's any feedback on that. Other than that, the Planning Commission has talked briefly about it, and as you know, I had lunch with Rebecca in Arizona with regards, well, that wasn't the topic of the meeting, but it was brought up that in past years, the Planning Commission had done some work on rezoning. And as the city is so badly in need of rezoning, for this particular purpose, I just wanted to come before council and get council's blessing for Planning Commission at their time limit or time frame to move forward with doing some work on rezoning the city. And I think that would take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we allow the planning commission to move forward on a rezoning plan for the city.
Any discussion other than I agree with it?
Well, I would like to know more about, like, the actual, what exactly kinds of things you need to, what.
Very well put.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
soon as
I'm
we
sorry,
get
sorry,
permission to
that's-
move forward,
yeah.
That's what we're given them permission for, is to
I
do
know,
some,
like,
to do
so-
some research and bring us some
I
information.
know, but, so give me some more information about that information.
So vote yes, and we'll be able to talk.
That sounds good.
Okay, can you have a vote?
Yeah, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and what we'd like to do, I think I was talking to Cindy earlier, I'm not sure it wouldn't benefit not only the planning commission, but the city council to set aside a brief combined workshop to get all our ducks in a row and find out where we want to actually focus our attention to. You know, how do we see our downtown forming? How do we see the outskirts forming? You know, do we want to set aside commercial? Do we want to set aside or make downtown residential only? No multifamily or no high rise or things like that.
Do we want to get retail back in our retail space?
We'd like to do that probably.
Would, do we have, what's our agenda for the next, so we do, mid-month council does a workshop before. Might we, is it a long agenda already? Or do we have time to?
We have time.
Give-
We have other things.
Well, but I mean, we could, no, I see, if we have time, we could just tack you on to the first 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or the last
We're
15,
doing
30 minutes.
codes.
Yeah,
We're doing
we're doing
codes.
the codes. Yeah, the main agenda item is the buzzard recommendation regarding nuisances, which is gonna be pretty consuming.
Okay,
You're bringing it up at the big meeting though, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Right.
okay.
Now, is this gonna give you time before the 29th when you have to submit?
Todd is supposed to have a package for me before he leaves, and he's going to be back actually in time before it goes to Lewis County, so we can put our heads together on it and give an indication of which way. The county has indicated they want us to go that way.
Yeah, they have. And so I went to a conference and when they wanted public information and it was quick, what they would do is they would give dots, like sticker dots to people, and then you would just say, okay, we have this idea, this idea, this idea. You'd write it down, and then you get a mass sampling of people's like, yes, I want this, no, I don't want this, yes, I want this, no, I don't want this. It was quick and it was easy, and it seemed like you could do that for, many things. But just to get a real-time, update of what people in Toledo want. So it seems like,
Well, maybe you talk to Mike Morgan about his question. He likes to do a big question, list of questions for people at the big meeting. Maybe you can get some questions on there from the planning commission.
Yeah, they also have the Survey Monkeys where you have the QR code, and then people, if they want to answer, you can have a list of questions, and they scan the QR code, and they can go through, and if they put their name and their email address,
you could even have
and
that.
then they'll answer it, and it'll send you it'll send you an email, and then how, I think it was Todd was saying we have that list of people that actually gave their input on it, so I could look into that a little bit for you if you want. You can set up questions.
Okay.
Yeah, you could even have that like QR code like, anywhere.
And let's move on. Sorry, we've got quite a bit of new business. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, great.
So we take a vote.
You did.
We did.
Okay,
Technically,
sorry.
I think we should have moved that to other business, but
It was a
we
Yeah,
brought some
so
other
let's
business.
try to remember that the average age of the big meeting is probably well in excess of 70.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the average age around here.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
that's time to move on. Park board, I don't think we really have
Tim's sick.
anybody. Okay,
I can probably speak to the park board.
great.
So they will be having a survey at the big meeting regarding Kemp Olson Park and things that want to be done there, a few other categories of information to start getting community feedback for an updated park plan.
Great. Thank you. We don't have a public hearing. We don't have a special presentation. Public comment on agenda items. Oh, okay, great. On to new business. First item is Cheese Days Committee Special Event Permit brought to us by Dan Gordon.
So does he want us to make a motion and approve this?
I would take a motion to approve this.
I'll make a
special-
motion that we approve Dan Gordon's application for a special permit of the Toledo Cheese Days Committee for
Great.
I'll second it.
permit.
Any other discussion about this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Next is Lewis County Fire District Number 2 Special Events Permit.
Who are those guys?
And this is also for Cheese Days.
My only question is, oh wait, hang on. I'll make a motion that we approve Lewis County Fire District Number 2 Special Events Permit.
I'll second it.
My only question is, will it block the senior breakfast?
No,
Okay,
absolutely not.
all right, great.
Great. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. On to liquor license approval for the, I'm not,
El Tejano.
I'll make
El
a motion that
Tejano.
we approve El Tejano liquor license approval.
I'll second it.
okay, any discussion?
Yes. So, I have no knowledge of these people. But in the past, what I've seen is they put in an application and we just kind of go through the motions. So I think what we should start doing, and I'm starting it today, is to do some due diligence. First of all, is this a first permit? Is this a brand new permit or is this a repeat?
This is new residents, this is new ownership of Chimmy's.
This is the cook at the Guadalajara is starting a restaurant. That is she and her family.
Okay, so it's not, it's a new restaurant altogether?
It is.
No, it's the existing restaurant.
They're
that's
updating it.
Yeah, that's been
New management.
new management, new management.
It's just in the
So it's not a new venue to town, it's just new ownership.
replace.
Okay, and have there been any prior complaints?
This is a new restaurant and new owners, like it's a brand new thing. Like it's their first ever restaurant. They've never done
Chief,
it.
do you have alcohol-related
Since the-
complaints of Chimmy's?
Since the almost 2 years that I've been here, I've not received a single complaint with Jimmy's. It's not to say something hasn't happened, it just has not been reported. I haven't heard anything in the community.
I've
The
been
Washington-
there. I'm sorry. I've been their neighbor since they moved here, and I've never had a problem with them as their neighbor.
The Washington State Controlled Liquor Board does periodic checks, so that's something we can reach out to them and ask them to go ahead and just randomly check it to alleviate any concerns.
Now, the Washington State Liquor Control Board does its own due diligence.
They do the vetting.
background checks and
And
everything.
essentially what the city council is doing is approving for the
Them to-
control board.
But what I'm trying to
move
say,
forward.
to alleviate your concerns, that's something I can reach out, I've done it before, just say, can you guys take a look sometime within the next year and let us know what you found out. It's not a big deal, they do it all the time. So-
Well, and if you've not seen anything in
No.
2 years, I'm fine with that. I just think we should be asking these questions.
Sure.
So,
I kind of thought that's the liquor board's venue to vet the people. We're
It is.
vetting do we want alcohol to be sold in our city in this location, and is it a problem?
Correct.
So, maybe if it were a repeat, if this was Chimmy's coming back up and the chief's down there every weekend with people rolling out into their cars to drive drunk, then at that point, it looks like we would write them a letter.
And I can also go sit down and have a conversation with them as well, express any concerns you might have, and just kind of do some PR stuff with them.
yeah, I just think that this process should be every time we approve a license, we should just ask a few questions so it doesn't fall by the wayside.
Absolutely.
So I've done my due diligence.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, I will take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? That passes. Okay, on to resolution 284A.
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 248A.
284.
Oh my gosh, 284A, that's hard to read. Cost allocation policy.
I'll second that.
Okay, so getting on to resolution 284A, a resolution of the City of Toledo, Washington adopting a cost allocation policy to guide the equitable distribution of costs across city departments and services. This was part of the budget. This was a component of the budget that did not get into the budget. Or that it did not get into the ordinance we passed or the resolution we passed at the time.
It was approved at a workshop, yeah,
It
we
was-
just never
yeah.
had the resolution for it.
Yeah. Anybody else have any comment?
I do. How did you come up with these? Did you have a spreadsheet or these allocations?
I know for the payroll ones, we kind of went down and figured out how much time is spent in each of these areas. So yeah, there was an Excel sheet involved in percentages made by Eric.
Okay.
I did quite a bit of watching the last 3 months of the year to kind of see where it felt like they were spending their time as well.
Okay, and I'm a little confused with the Public Works water and the Public Works sewer and the allocations because they both contain water and sewer.
What do you mean?
Public Works water
Yes?
has the water fund and the sewer fund.
Yes. Oh,
Public Works sewer has the water fund.
oh,
and
those
the
are those are the yes. Those are the employee. So
Okay.
we have a sewer focused employee and then a water focused employee.
Okay, so
And
there
then
are
the-
2 employees there that.
Yeah, and then you can see the part-time public works is a little bit of water and sewer and mostly streets.
Okay. Yep, that's what I needed.
These are fairly similar to what we've had historically, which is
Correct.
kind of little minor changes
Right.
that it seemed like a couple of them were not correctly accounting for how much time we were seeing spent.
Right, and especially with there not being as many people here. So,
Yeah. Okay,
procurement.
so I got my motion and second. Anybody else want to talk on this? Okay, I'll call the vote. All in favor of 284A?
Aye.
And opposed? Resolution passes. So this is do we read? No, we only do one reading of resolutions.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 285A of the procurement policy.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and resolution 285A. Actually, if you could let me read it next time before we jump in. A resolution of the City of Toledo, Washington adopting the 2024 procurement policy for the procurement of goods, services, and public works. And this is are there any changes to this other than what we
Uh,
kind of normally just
There was the
reaffirm?
changes that were requested
Sherry.
in the last meeting, and that was just the changing this to 7,500. I think it was at like 30,000 or something like that.
Oh, yes, okay.
And Rebecca, I know you had a question, and I wasn't understanding what you were asking in the policy, so I wasn't ignoring your email.
This is on the Public Works.
It's on the procurement policy.
There's one comment under Public Works projects, there's a bullet that says, under 300,000, use MRSC rosters. 300 or more requires formal bidding. And then projects between 40,000 single trade and 65,000 multiple trades must also follow formal bidding. And that just sort of threw me off. So even though they're under 300,000,
Or the MRSC roster.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
I think it also says single trade.
Yes.
40,000, yeah, so, yeah.
Multiple trades. Yeah, 40,000 for single trade and 65,000 for multiple trades. I
So it's very specific, but at the same time.
That threw me too, and then if you look on the chart, it kind of
okay.
spells it out a little
And
better.
that's what I was thinking. Somewhere somebody explained it probably to me once.
No, I circled it too.
Okay.
So, yeah, so the changes, I think you were out, weren't you, Rachel? Rebecca. Rebecca.
Well,
Yeah,
it
so,
just seems like if it's projects between 40 and 65,000, don't come under the under 300,000 and they. No, I still don't understand why is that singled out? It's either under 300,000 or it's over.
I think is it a refinement from inside of the under 300?
I think it's a refinement because it says, it's a refinement because you could have more than one trade if it's over that amount, right? But if it's under that, you could have a single trade. That's what it reads like to me. But if it's over 65,000, you
So
can
this
have multiple
is-
trades.
Yeah, I think this is the project with the cost. So I'm thinking those are the supplies. It looks like those are the supplies.
Okay. Oh, projects.
See, if you can see on the left, it says between the 40 and the 65 and less than 300.
Correct.
So I think that they're talking about if it's like, say you're doing a $250,000 project and you're going to hire out a couple people and you've got one's going to be 30,000 to do this task and one's going to be 30,000
A couple different
for this other task.
contractors
It's
or
trying to
whatever.
kind of refine that you can at some point use a smaller roster. Or
luckily, I don't have to figure
right.
it out when the project comes in.
So I think one of the big things we did while you were gone, Rebecca, was we lowered, like the goods and services was a pretty large number for Toledo. So we lowered those numbers down to something more manageable. Yeah. Okay.
I think that bullet point for future reference, we should probably work on it.
This came
The
from,
wording is really,
yeah, is this procurement policy a rebuild of our last one? Or was
No,
it
we didn't
just-
have one. This
we
is the
didn't have one.
MRSC.
This is the MRSCs?
Yep.
No.
So that the table in that policy is an example that came from Woodland.
Okay. Do you as a group think that this is okay, or should we?
I think the
Refine that some
table
more?
is fine. I think that bullet point is really confusing.
Are you talking about the requirements? Or are you talking about?
Projects between 40,000 single trade and 65,000 multiple trades must also follow formal bidding or MRSC roster.
If the-
quoting.
Yeah.
So if that
Applicable.
bullet actually were a sub bullet of the under 300, it would make more sense.
Make more sense.
Probably, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, motion to change that
going
or
from-
amend it.
Would you like to make a motion
300,000
would you like to amend the motion that we approve with that change?
I can do that. I make a motion that we amend the Public Works project number 1 to make the bullet point for 40,000, 65,000 under the 300,000 as a sub-bullet.
I'll second that.
Great. Any other conversation?
And it won't have to hurt mine and Rebecca's brain.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of 285A?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 283A, the 2024 personnel policy update. Where is that?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 283A, the 2004 personnel policy. Take it away, Eric.
I'll second it.
283A is a resolution of the City of Toledo, Washington, adopting the 2024 personnel policy manual and superseding previous policy manuals. I'm going to read this now. Y'all know. Do you want to summarize for me?
I'm no bigger.
Word by word.
Do you want to?
I'd like to order McDonald's breakfast now.
On the changes that were made.
Yeah, 283A. So that's
So we improved the IT policy part of it.
Yeah.
Let me see this real quick.
so. The brief says that
Yeah.
the use of technology was rewritten to be current. You removed the references to abacus,
Yeah.
sundials.
Right here.
And separate hearing.
Oh no, that's not it. I don't have the.
And discussed the development of a separate hiring policy.
Yeah, and then we changed up the vacation pay to where we needed to start taking our vacation,
Great.
keep it under 20 days, get with the mayor if you feel like you can't take your time, and then she'll be able to work it out to where you can take your
Great.
time. And that keeps our liabilities down with the SIO too.
Excellent.
And I don't know if it's in here, but there was a recommendation that we review it, every 5 years?
I think we were.
So there is, through the RMSA, we have to have our attorney review our policy every 5 years. So
But that doesn't mean we can't
review it every year if we
review
wanted
it.
to.
That was something that, as we're reviewing our policies in general leading up to budgeting, it's kind of like a pre-budgeting warm-up is really when it should be getting done.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Okay, so call for the vote.
It's been motioned and seconded.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. 2 pages.
I'll make a motion that we approve Toledo Tel camera proposal. It is, wait, somebody needs to second it. We're on number 7.
I'll second it.
So Sherry wrote the, take a look.
Okay, so Sherry said, I am asking for the council to consider this proposal. The cameras that we purchased prior from Toledo Tel were not the most ideal option for what we needed. I think they were solar powered cameras under the tree canopy in the park.
Bless her.
In this proposal, the cameras included would be an upfront cost, but there would be no monthly fees like with the cameras that we have been paying for the last 2 years, allowing for a total of 16 cameras so the city can grow as we add more cameras where
As we
needed.
grow.
The proposal will allow for the placement of 2 cameras at Camp Wilson Park. So that will allow us to see the bathrooms and the playground. She is hoping that there will be a huge deterrent to the ongoing vandalism issues. It will also give us our cameras back at the boat launch, as we only have 1 right now. In talking with the tech for Toledo Tel, he said the camera system will be able to be displayed on the current screen at City Hall so we can monitor activity during the day. I would also recommend we discuss with them down the road about adding a camera or 2 at the wastewater treatment plant. I second that.
Yes. service.
so that we can monitor for illegal dumping and trespassing. Toledo Tel is confident that they have everything that would be needed for the purchase of equipment and installation in the proposal. They did say that there's a chance it may come in a bit lower if they're able to reuse some of the existing equipment that transmits the signals. Thank you for considering the proposal.
And there is no monthly service fee on this too.
So right now, how many cameras are slated?
How many cameras are what?
There's 6 in the proposal, but
2 at the park, 4 at the boat launch. And one of those 4 is actually in the gazebo.
There's 6 cameras on this invoice, on this proposal. 5 MP4 bullet cameras and 5 MP4 very focal bullet cameras. So that sounds like a camera that you can change focus on.
5 and 5 is 10 now.
5 and 1, I'm sorry, 5 and 1.
Okay.
And we also want to put a couple at the wastewater treatment.
That was,
Because I thought Sherry said that this proposal is for a total of 16 cameras.
No,
to
it's-
allow for growth.
There's
So
two
we're gonna
options.
use-
There's 2 options for a system, a 16-channel system and an 8-channel system. So she's recommending, and the price difference is
Oh, I see.
$120 between
Right.
the 2.
So that one way when we do grow, we can add up to 16 cameras. But right now she's only looking at 6 cameras. We're just trying to fix the park situation. Later on, maybe next year, we can look at budget and add more cameras to
And at the boat launch too. I think
the other
that's
areas.
awesome.
so are you saying this 8-channel would go away because we're opting for the 16?
We would buy
Correct.
one or the other.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I think
makes
And
sense
it's,
to
and
me.
it's the 16 that's in the total.
But again, can I get clarified?
Go ahead.
We've
Sorry,
got
Chief.
2 at the park, and we're doing 4 at the boat launch?
No.
No. There are
That's what
2
it
cameras
shows.
at the park. I think there's 2 at the boat launch right now, right?
no, oh. Okay.
it looks like.
And then one at the sewer treatment plant.
No, that isn't.
Well, we have
included.
6 cameras here in the.
She's
There's
saying
2
that
at
she
the
would
park
recommend
and 4
discuss
at the
with them.
boat launch.
Go ahead,
There's
Chief.
one,
But okay.
there's one showing the parking area for the boat launch. There are 2 that are aimed back toward the river and the brush along it.
Correct.
There's one that points down the path or down the walkway.
Yes.
And that's the only one that's working
And,
currently.
and then the
4 at the boat launch.
And then there's one in the gazebo. The the very, very full.
Correct.
That's hard to say.
Which one's monitoring the bathroom?
Pardon?
Is there one monitoring the bathroom?
At the boat launch, yes.
Yeah,
Chief?
it's,
Not from the reason.
Okay,
Did you
Chief.
say one of them was, did you say they're solar powered?
The old ones.
no, those
The old
were
ones?
the old ones.
We should get a refund on that for the cloudy days.
Those they have never
That's my little
worked.
joke.
They have never
So
worked.
if you're gonna do the water treatment plant, you need to do the substation, electrical substation, that's a critical component. You need to make sure there's a camera on that as well.
And that's
Or at least
not
coverage.
in this proposal at this
Do you,
time.
do you mean the lift station that's at the head of that street?
Yep, your electrical grid.
It's actually not. It's not electric. It's a pump system. But
Well, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's critical, and I just assumed it was a little substation that
Yeah.
needs to be monitored. At least have a camera pointing at it, so if something does happen, we can identify, you know,
And where's,
people's interests.
where's the substation?
he's talking. It's the.
This would only allow us for 2 cameras.
It's the lift station. So what it does is it raises up the material so that it can make it the rest of the way to the sewer plant.
Okay,
And it's right at the. It's at
Right when you pull in.
right as you're getting to the end of Fifth.
okay,
You know.
Yeah.
It's right there.
yeah,
Substation.
and that
That's a good idea.
isn't being covered.
Well, I
That's
see 6
fine.
cameras here, so we've got more cameras on this invoice-ish
Yeah.
looking.
No.
No, we've got 4 at the boat launch and 2 at the park.
Yeah.
So
That-
this
that
is
would
to
be 6.
replace,
Okay.
this is to replace the exact cameras that we have right now. But we're getting the 16 channel one so that way we can expand when we decide to do so. But all she's asking for right now is to replace the current cameras that we have. The current camera system that we have has been charging us monthly. This new system, we pay the upfront cost and we no longer pay a monthly cost.
And how much is the monthly?
How much was the monthly?
Yeah.
I think it was like $45 on Toledo Tel.
Okay.
I'd have to pull the bill, but yeah.
Okay, so that's 550. So where are we going to get the other 4,500 bucks? Do we have budget
This is what she's asking for ARPA.
And,
for ARPA?
and they were only charged 1 hour for labor.
One unit of $1,800 for labor.
Yeah.
It's not 1 hour.
Yeah.
They're just
Okay.
they're fixed rating the labor.
And there was no charge to change from the 8 channel to the 16.
No,
The
it's
difference is about
$100 difference.
$120.
Yeah.
Oh, to get that.
So, what I'd like to see on here is covering, since we already know we want the plant covered,
Taking those words right out of my mouth.
cover the plant in this also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think four
And-
cameras
Yeah,
at the
make-
boat launch
and
is
bef-
kind of overkill.
So
Make a motion.
That's
yeah, so I
about
think
it.
that's for three more cameras. I think 1 at the lift station and 2 at the plant.
Okay, then my motion is that we accept this for the 16 channel, and then we also include 3 cameras for the plant.
Plant and yeah, you could just say the plant. Lift station's
So-
part of the plant.
Oh, sorry.
There may be some additional of these other items, so it might just be more than 3 times 178. But yes,
So these cameras, are they for the whole city?
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to the chief, and I think we should listen to him too. I mean, he's saying that,
let him talk. He was just
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, the cameras you're proposing, are they for the whole city?
What do you mean for the whole city?
Within the boundaries?
There,
We can put them wherever we like.
No.
We have the cameras
No.
are spoken for. The number in here is spoken for. If you think there's additional cameras that we need, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
right at the intersection of the bank. Yeah, you should have a camera there.
the intersection of the bank, could it look
So it
from
could-
the boat launch?
It
I don't know.
could
If you
sit
if
here
you
at
get
City
coverage
Hall.
for that intersection, that would be really nice.
So
Yeah.
City Hall pointing at the corner at the intersection.
Sure, that'd be great.
Go ahead. I'll take your sage advice.
So if they're not solar powered, they're plug-in powered?
Yes, correct.
And the plug-ins are there already?
I believe that they're
They don't have to
using.
reroute power anymore.
They are.
well,
I
the
believe
power
I
there.
believe the rewiring at the kitchen was done
Yeah.
when we discovered that it was on a switch.
All the places that we're currently proposing have power.
Yes.
Including the places the chief just said?
If he would like to add one pointing at the intersection of 505, if we put it here
So
at
these
the,
wireless cameras or wired cameras?
some of each. It's on the website, included in our packet. There is also wireless point-to-points. There's also power over Ethernet switches.
Yeah.
So there's like $1,500 worth of hardware to.
And they're all fixed cameras, there's no pan, tilt, zooms.
I don't know if that very focus one does.
You have a DVR in your office, is that where
That's what the
Recorder
16
is.
channel is.
and you have the monitor in your office?
And it's right here in City Hall.
Do you want a monitor in your office?
That would probably be nice.
Okay,
It'll
so
work.
So we have it, modified now?
It's
Oh,
gonna
can
be
you-
modified, but it may include labor too. Do we want to submit that to them and have them rework the numbers?
I mean,
So can we at least get this
I mean,
approved
the-
to
the-
move forward and then
I-
make
I
the
would-
16 channel
the
and then we can
resolution
come
to
back and look
modify.
at the extra
I would like to
cameras?
not incur the labor twice.
Right.
So if we're doing, there's got to be some savings in setting the whole thing up once, because I think that's what they're doing is they're probably quoting us
But the
a day of somebody's time or something.
total, 1 unit of 1,800 for the labor.
That's just how they build it out. It's,
Okay.
in order to cover this whole
It's
package,
a lump sum
Yep.
labor. Yeah, it's. instead of
that's
having 6
like having
cameras.
Dish Network come in.
It's like $300 a camera.
So if it's adding.
It's
one-
$178 a camera and $306 for the fancy camera. So my guesstimate would be that you're not half again. You're probably, if you just add up 4 more cameras, you're probably another $1,500 could be Could be 2,000 depending on what they need to convert
To add one.
to add
Four more
to go
cameras.
from 6 to 10.
Yeah, to go from 6 to 10. So it's-
Because you already have a bunch of
Explain
sunk.
the,
You already have a bunch of sunk costs
the
already.
location of those additional 4.
2 at the sewer plant,
Oh,
one
okay.
one at the lift station. That's at the end of Fifth, and one in City Hall running at
Okay.
the corner.
Could you guys move forward on this particular proposal contingent on
Right.
Toledo Tel revising the labor
I
for,
would like to amend this to say that we approve up to $6,500 to cover the additional 4 cameras and installation.
Okay.
I'll second
I'll
that.
second.
Rebecca wins. All right. Anything else on this? Great.
It doesn't say that it's for ARPA in here. That does need to be addressed, right? That we're using ARPA for that.
Can I get an amendment to
Include ARPA.
include that we're using ARPA?
I would like to amend that to say that we're going to use ARPA funds to cover this project.
I'll second that too.
All right. I think we've done this long enough. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion passes. Okay, resolution 280. We're on to unfinished business. MRSC Small Works roster.
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 280A, MRSC Small Works Roster.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. This is a resolution of the City of Toledo, Washington, adopting the Municipal Research and Services, also known as MRSC, rosters procurement of public works, consulting, and vendor services in compliance with the relevant state laws. Thank you. Go put a fire out or something.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
This is a much better looking resolution. The previous resolution was 6.5 pages, supplied to us by MRS. Cover your behind C. And it included paragraph after paragraph rephrasing all of the RCWs that we're referencing. And rather than us own those words and have to defend them, let's just let the RCW stand on its own. Anybody else like to chat about it?
Yeah, my small works didn't come through. It didn't come through on the computer, and this is what I've got for this. So is there an actual small works roster that we can look at? Or?
It is run by MRSC. So
Oh, yeah.
you log into MRSC and yeah, that's something that
Yeah, if you Google Small Works roster MRSC, they literally do everything for us. They're looking at all of their licenses, making sure they're in good standing.
What's
We
the
don't have
cost for
to.
that?
It's $135 a year. We don't have to post every year. I mean, just alone, I'm sure us posting every year, like, hey, we're opening up our Small Works roster this year,
Yeah.
is half of that. So, and there's a lot of legwork that goes into each application for the Small Works roster, plus the organization, and doing it every single year.
So we're buying like 2
They-
weeks worth of
Yeah.
Oh,
man
yeah.
hours for $135.
And it's electronic,
Great
which
buy.
we like.
And so what, if we have somebody in town here that wants to have, that wants to do something for the city, we send them to MRSC to
Yep.
go through and let MRSC vet them, and once they're on that roster, we can make use of them.
Which is why, again, like I asked the president of AWC, what do we do about this question I have for the library? And she had no idea. So she kicked it over to MRSC. She doesn't know. They know. They know everything about every single RCW under the sun, right?
Okay.
So that's why
Great.
they will be a huge help to us.
Anybody have any other discussion about 280A?
No, but I want to go back after we take care of this.
Okay. Then I will call for the vote. All in favor of resolution 280A?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, I don't know which resolution this was, but it said something to the effect of giving favor to local businesses.
That was in the previous
procurement.
procurement. policy.
Okay, and so what my question was is, if we have to go by lowest bid, how does that actually look? If,
So we can use like Paul's Tree Service, for example. If we need to cut down some trees, we have to get 3 bids. Let's say there's this bid over here that's lower than Paul's, but they don't have the equipment needed and they don't have the qualifications. We can still use Paul's. Otherwise, we have to use the lowest bid. And there's some other stipulations in there through the MRSC, but that's what the lowest bid is going to look like. They just don't want us to continue to use the same person over and over and over again. They want it, they want us to basically spread the wealth. And we have to.
And as a former developer and general contractor, I can assure you that low bid is not necessarily the best bid.
Right. So, we can also look at that if, you go and these people have really bad, reviews, just horrible reviews. They're being slammed on Google. Those are all things that we would take into account. I think we just had something
We did
like
that.
that
We did
a
that
couple
with
months
the
ago.
Ash Street repair.
Exactly.
We did not take the lowest bid because in our bidding, I believe a couple of people, Ron might have said something on them, or Joe said something that they failed bidding, so we did not take the lowest bid.
Right, and that's part of what the MRSC is going to do for us too, because they're going to look. I mean, if these people haven't paid their taxes, we're not able to use them. Like, there's so much that we have to look at when we are asking someone for a bid. So,
It's called best value.
yeah.
Not
There you
best bid, best value.
Best value. Fantastic.
that was my question.
Are we at a close? Oh, so let's see. We have no other unfinished business? No?
One thing,
Good.
The mayor was talking to me earlier, and I should have brought it up before, but we had a Washington State trooper that was struck and killed up by Marysville, Washington, in the line of duty. So since you're the acting mayor, we should take a moment of silence to recognize that. Everybody stand up. And as you can see, I've got the badge covered by the black. So
Let's all join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you, Dwayne.
And thank you for putting yourself out there.
It really makes you think. I gotta tell you, it just brought back the memories of the shootout I was in, and I walked out today going, wow. Okay. This guy walked out yesterday, was on a traffic stop, and somebody hit him, and now he's gone. Apparently, the mayor knows
Yeah.
this person.
You want to sign?
She sang it or did I sing?
We can send it to her.
Public comment. Steve?
Not to beat a dead horse, but I wish the council would start considering the number and definitions for the various impact fees that the city would like to impose upon development. As a reminder, Winlock, when I talked to Robert on the way they were handling their impact fees, part of the big reason for the impact fees was not necessarily because we think the impact fees are going to cover all the costs. I mean, we intend to make new development pay their fair share when they come in. But a lot of things that Winlock was doing with impact fees was creating a fund in particular niches. And so when grants came along that required a participation by the city, let's say, in a particular case he was talking, they had like $1 million roundabout that they've got funded for that area there by Cemetery and that dreadful left turn that you make there. Is it required a $60,000 copay by the city, and that was covered in development impact fees, so that they didn't have to go back to the taxpayers and ask for money. And so when you're looking at traffic and parks and things that we want to get grants on, all the various departments that have 5% or 10% participation by the city, we should be building a fund for those so that they're not on the backs of our taxpayers. They're already there waiting for us to use in those instances where they can do the city the most good. But that takes getting together and determining
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
what areas you want to cover with your impact fees, and then deciding how much that is going to be. So if you ended up saying, okay, we're going to have an impact fee totaling, $4,000 or $5,000 per unit, but then you have it split up into the various areas that you want those impact fees to go. And we haven't addressed the school's decision to impose impact fees, really. I believe they're going to be asking $15,000, and going to be going through the CEPA process to do it for the county if they can. But I don't think we.
Have you spoken with the new superintendent?
I have not.
Maybe it'd be good to kind of have that. I'd be happy to be part of that.
And it is springtime, and if interest rates go down before the election, which they may do, that's a big spurt for the construction companies, because they have, despite what you think, they don't have billions of dollars in a bank account where they build things. Most of their work is done off loans. And when you're putting up a 100-lot subdivision, you probably have $50 million out there in loans by the time you're done. And so the difference between 8% and 4% is a lot of money per day in carry costs. And so what they do is they'll wait till the interest rates lower, and then you'll see a big spurt of spending.
And it's a double whammy because the buyers can afford more,
They
a
can.
higher price house at a lower
And
interest rate.
it will catch you by surprise how quickly
Oh,
that
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
And so we need to prepare and get ready for that. Yes, sir.
Do you suggest we have a workshop, talk about this impact? I mean, I'll go. I mean, I'd like to.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea. One of many workshops that we have.
Yeah. I'm a fan, actually, that goes along with everything I've been pushing for, that, as you know, is that the new people coming in building and the builders coming in making money off of Toledo are the ones that need to pay, not the existing residents. And so this is kind of, the existing residents have been paying for our parks for a long time. We should have a park impact fee to help the parks continue to grow type thing. So.
I agree, and I think we need to take a little stronger stance towards our developers than we did in the past. I think allowing the contractor to plead poor mouth is
You think
ridiculous.
You think
Totally.
Max is going to like me any less than he already does?
Well, that's
We
fine,
have
but
a small amount of space and a lot of people who want to
Yeah.
live here.
and that's it. The city does have to adopt the attitude that this is what we want for our city, and if you can't make it work on paper, then you probably shouldn't be in the business here.
Our March workshop is kind of full. Is mid-April getting too late? Do we need to?
No, I haven't seen any evidence that they're going to be pulling building permits anytime soon, because they can't do that really until they get water and sewer up the road, and that hasn't
And they haven't
started.
broken ground. I'd say when they break ground on water sewer, we
April,
better get moving.
Get the
Yeah.
planning commission with us and work on that.
Oh, we could do that at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So April
Okay.
workshop.
Thank you, Steve.
April workshop for your commission.
Ron, you got anything for us?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, one thing.
Yes, sir.
I think there was a letter put out to the citizens in Toledo a few months ago about cleaning up their places.
Yep.
Where's that at?
We are changing some of our nuisance codes right now, and that's something that I think we're actively working on. We're gonna start sending letters pretty soon, because I've seen some places and some people have been complaining.
And
So-
our mid-month workshop
Is on nuisance.
is on nuisances.
So some of our nuisances were criminal offenses. So we didn't
Everything
want to
was
put
criminal.
people to jail for leaving their trash in their front
We've
yard.
already laid the entire groundwork to do exactly what you're talking about. We sent that letter out. It's been hand delivered, knock and talk, sent by mail. Everybody's had it. And so, like Rachel said, we've taken a couple of our ordinances and turned them into civil. Otherwise, it would have broke the bank, putting people in jail for junk vehicles and that type of thing. Once that's finalized through the system, and it's put into a sector, boom.
It's probably about another week, maybe two at the
I'm
max.
all ready to go. probably gonna do about 20 citations coming out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be writing 20
Wow,
right off the bat. We're gonna shut down a certain place.
good.
But we have to make sure that we have everything in place before we do that. And that's what we've been doing behind the scenes. They don't see that. All they see is every day, they drive by and they see the same thing every day. But we've had to think long term, how are we going to resolve the problem? They're not going to have a leg to stand on. So,
Thank you, Dwayne.
Does that take into account the south end of Toledo? It's not in the city?
no, it's within the city limits, unfortunately. That's all the jurisdiction that we have at this point.
We have very little property south of the south end of Toledo that's not in the city.
Is that something that we could look into annexing in the future?
What's,
Are we talking about the Grove area and stuff like that?
South Toledo?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure what
you're running into the river.
yeah.
Well, there's a part of town in the south part of town that we haven't annexed in
Oh, okay.
ever. I don't know.
You mean where you live and stuff, right?
No,
No.
no, he lives north, he lives,
He lives north, but there's a part of town in the south.
There's a handful of homes down on Alder and behind Alder
Oh,
off of
okay.
First that aren't annexed into
Right.
the
I
state.
think that yeah,
Yeah, so all that has to be addressed eventually.
not that I.
I didn't know that we had nuisance issues down there. First I've heard of that.
I mean,
Okay.
we could also go Ridgecrest too, but.
I'm ready for a motion.
Oh, I
Okay.
I had one thing that I forgot to talk about. Just because I read it in the Chronicle, and I was like, we haven't talked about that since before COVID, which was Lewis County Transit had an article in the Chronicle, which to further along a bus stop down here. So think about that. Yeah. So they're looking to broaden their transit system. I know that they were talking about that several years ago. They actually came down here and talked to Steve. And then the guy who was in charge got fired and it was a whole big deal. But so it looks like they've got a grant and they're actually doing it. So, but they did mention Toledo specifically. So,
Okay.
yeah, I make a motion that we adjourn.
No,
Oh, sorry.
I've been
Don't
patiently
take it back.
waiting.
Take it back.
So, in these two additional items that we were given, minutes for the Historical Society and Toledo Arts, both of them seem to feel it's a given that this is going to be a historical society.
They are, I can answer that pretty easily. They are using the powers of positive thinking.
That's
Yes.
just their notes. Those
Yes.
aren't coming from the city.
Oh,
My
that's-
exact words at the historical
No.
meeting were, "You're counting the chickens and the coop isn't even built yet."
Okay, because my thoughts are that it should be up to the entire community
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
give their input, and we should be having a workshop on it.
And we
should
will.
be
For sure.
So far away from that.
Putting it out to the public.
Gray and Osborne has been here to
I
look
agree.
around. We don't have anything yet, so we don't even know.
Exactly which parts
We don't
may
even
not
know where we
be up
sit
for
with the city.
decision.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
they
guess.
do know that.
And
Like what?
on the,
What?
on the positive thinking, congratulate Joe on your winning lotto ticket. You're going to win the millionaire.
Great.
Yeah.
We would love a new city hall. All right. I'll
I
take
make a
that
motion
motion.
that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Thank you all.